Welcome back, Dodecadorks. We're the 12-sided guys. We have Scott as Ornan,
At your service.
Sabrina as Cilvy,
Oh, hello.
Jordan as Mawgrim,
You're most welcome.
Matt as Guy,
That is my name. Don't wear it out.
and me, Paul, as that notorious, infamous, roguishly good-looking scallywag, Tommy Two Thumbs. And of course, we all know his catchphrase. Everybody, say it with me now.
Hey, I'm Tommy and I got 2 thumbs.
Hey, Two Thumbs Tommy over here.
Wow, you guys did a really great job. Speaking of doing a really great job,
I feel like I'm getting Dora the Explorer right now, where like I shouted out the wrong answer, but Paul's still like, wow, great job. Thanks for the help.
well, speaking of doing a really great job, all of you listeners out there are doing a really great job of spreading the word about us, the 12-sided guys. And speaking of the word, Jesus. And speaking of Jesus, geez, us here at 12-sided guys have been hard at work putting out more and more Patreon content for you. So check it out by becoming a patron. And speaking of patron, a huge shout out to one of our newest patrons, Chris. And speaking of Chris Cross will make you jump. And speaking of jump, y'all better jump on that Dodecadork drip we've got over in our shop. And speaking of shop, my mama told me you better shop around. And speaking of around, it's probably time I get around to starting this episode. Anyway, if you ever called upon Knights of the Round, then this podcast is for you. It's Chorus of the Forsaken, episode 28.
I did, but by the time I got it, I didn't need it anymore.
You didn't need it for like Emerald Weapon and stuff?
I had to beat Emerald Weapon in order to get the Chocobo.
Oh, you did? Oh, not
Yeah.
Emerald Weapon. Which one? Ruby
Or wait.
Weapon?
Maybe I'm mixing them up.
I Weapon is the first. I don't remember which ones are which now.
I only
It's
used
been
it
too
like
long.
twice. By the time I had it, there were like 2 fights where I actually even needed it.
Well, when you
Yeah.
said Knights of the Round, I wasn't thinking Final Fantasy. I was thinking the old arcade beat 'em up Knights of the Round with Percival and Lancelot and Arthur.
That's actually immediately where my mind went. I friggin' loved those games.
Lancelot with his long blonde hair and his saber.
His Fabio
He
hair.
was so dainty. I loved it.
Well, Percival turned into like a gladiator because he like had the one shoulder pad and the big one-handed axe.
No, he was just a medieval version of Hagar, the mayor of, what was it, Metro City?
Oh, you're right. Oh gosh. Come back with my daughter. That's my impression.
Oh my God.
Yes. Oh
Wait,
my
is that
gosh.
taken?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, man.
All right.
You know, actually, that Liam Neeson did base his character in Taken off of Hagar from Final Fight.
I knew it.
Hence the green overalls.
With only one strap, but strapped across his torso.
It was
It
so
was
great
the
to just
90s.
punch cars to try and get some extra power-ups.
The storm clouds of late fall sat heavy on the city of Redlam. The dark and broody weather matched by the dark and broody disposition of our fearsome hero. With a stoic visage, jaw set firm, and eyes perpetually locked in a scowl, the incomparable and indisputable leader of the ineptly named Wilhelm Associates extracts his black leather-clad book from his pack, and then pulls a stylus and small inkwell from his black leather-clad satchel, then sets aside his black leather wide-brimmed hat and black leather ulster cloak to begin writing out the black leather-clad ponderings of his enigmatic yet brilliant mind.
Oh my gosh.
Dear Diary, this rainy weather can be such a bummer, but the humidity makes my skin feel fabulous. If someone could, bottle this for when it's dry and hot, would totes buy. Sigh. I guess I just have to settle for this bear fat with lavender oil lip balm that smells so dreamy. Yum, yum. So today was a bit weird. Do you remember Elion from back in school? The one with the high water pants? He always had the messiest hair, and who wears white socks with sandals anyway? Well, guess who I saw today? That's right, it was Elion. And he had totally flip-flopped on the night owls and had become a nighthawk. OMG, like who does that? Nighthawks are like tacky brutes. Night owls are way cooler. Brains over bronze for life. It turns out that Elion was in town looking for none other than Calum of the Ravenstone clan. The one that was deep sixed by his own wife and me and my besties too. Obs. Based. LOL. Well, of course, I had to play it cool. Like, I'm not about to be all like, oh, totes, Elion, I know Calum, we totally killed him. Yeah, super dead, yup. He would have probs flipped out. He was already super weirded out seeing me alive after thinking I had died. What's worse, it looks like the Krahenesti hasn't forgotten yours truly, even though it's been like so many years since the incident in Berkeven. Ugh. How long is it gonna take for them to leave me alone? Just like, get a life. Jeez. I totes forgot to give context. Me and my besties, or the Friendship is Magical Band of Hot Misfits, as I call them. Okay, I'm still working on the name. Anyways, we were doing some research at the Prolian archives. We'd been having all these like crazy dreams/visions about Spritz and the bird person and the creepy clown dude and the animal person that's making creatures like lose their shirts and fight each other. We'd also found like a bunch of stuff that was pretty old, but like cool old, not like stupid old. You know what I mean? Anyway, there was a bunch of Inquisitors there, as well as Elion too. Elion told me that he was going to give me a little bit of time out of friendship, whatever, but that he would let them know about me very soon. Totally freaked out. I also managed to see the notes from the Inquisitors. I sort of like lost it. I snagged all of the notes and bolted. I wasn't about to let them get a leg up on us. But check it, they've been having the dreams visions too. They know all about Spritz and the rest, and Oak Road. So we have to go find these people from the dreams as soon as possible because, like, if we don't, then the Inquisitors will. They also mentioned a Peter the Merchant who's, like, low-key doing slavery stuff. Not cool. After I ran away from the Prolian archives, we decided to check in on the Druids. They hooked us up with this boon of braided skin that helps us talk to animals somehow. Some might call it booniful, LOL, but I'm not much into skins other than black leather. Danon, this dwarf druid, said she was going after Jib Jab and might come with us. She seems chill. Well, after everything and considering that Elion and his Nighthawk brutes might be looking for me, I'm thinking maybe I should like lay low for a little while. Besides, I've got lots of research to do and ammonia to distill. Old Vicky here could use some R&R. Sigh. Well, time to sign off. XOXOXO Victor.
Oh my gosh.
I'm getting NoHo Hank vibes, and I love it.
Well, welcome back to the city of Redlam. We now join Wilhelm and Associates as they are leaving the Shrine of Sylvanus in Greenway Village outside of Redlam as they are heading back into the city, trying to decide where they go from here. I know that you guys have a couple things you wanted to try. You guys have maybe some payments coming from the Baron, or at least from his treasury. You had talked about the silent voice. So what is it you guys want to do, or what are you doing as you go back into the city?
Do we know when we're going to get paid, or how long we have to wait?
We have no word on that.
You guys had been told that you would get word back at your inn. You had told the constable, you had told Gardenia, and as well as her boss, that you were staying at the Oaken Throne and that you would get word at the Oaken Throne when things were ready.
Mawgrim's going to like talk to them as we're coming into the city, and he's going to say, look, given everything that transpired at the Prolian archives, I don't know if it's a good idea for me to be openly walking around the city at this point, just for fear that if Elion put a tail on me or is attempting to have somebody follow me, I don't want him to follow you all to the Oaken Throne, although perhaps it'll be easy for them to figure out where we are. I'm wondering if it makes sense for me to meet you perhaps at the Raven's Rest Lodge in Greenway Village. I saw it as we were passing by on the way to the Shrine of Sylvanus, and I'm thinking perhaps maybe I could set up there and wait for you if I need to, or that maybe it makes sense that I stay somewhat separate?
Well, I don't think we want you going alone. I mean, I think you're right about you being the target. We weren't exactly subtle with that grab and run.
But I moved really fast.
But I still don't think you should be alone, just hanging out as bait.
Fair enough.
We're on our way to meet with an organization that specializes in hiding people who are being sought out. So maybe come with us at least to this next step. Meet with the silent voice, and maybe they can come up with some place for you to be until we are ready to leave this city.
Okay, I think that makes sense. Here, perhaps I can go a little bit in disguise. And he'll take off his black leather ulster cloak to reveal the black leather vest that he has on underneath and black leather shirt.
Man, you got to be sweating all the time.
No one will recognize me now.
Where did Mawgrim go?
But you still got the plague mask on.
With all that black leather, how much baby powder do you go through? Like, how long does it take you to go through one canister of baby powder?
Much baby powder. Oh my goodness.
Oh, God.
Well, we can see
so
it
nice
all over
all the
your
time.
clothes. There's white flecks everywhere.
Yeah, people think it's just my flaky skin, but it's not. It's the powder.
Yeah, honestly, I noticed that the moisture in the air is like wonderful for my skin right now.
You noticed it too? I mean, totally, yes.
You guys are looking so fresh.
Wait, remind me really quick. What was the name of the prelate again? We have the name on
Elion?
the envelope. No, the prelate who was researching Peter the merchant.
Yes, let me look. Yes, here it is. It is. What was the name of that prelate? Annalise. Thank you.
Annalise.
Annalise. It looks like her name was Annalise.
All right. Well, I'll pretend like I don't know that name, but I do think that I'm going to try to at least cross paths with her at least one more time. I think that there's...
Just be careful. I feel like we're getting a little close to them.
Was she an inquisitor, or was she just like a nun?
So she was a prelate. So she was one of the more a caretaker of the church. So she's not on crusade, right? So I think that anyone who has any connection with the Church of Aona in their past would know that there are different sects, different organizations in the Church of Aona. Now is as good a time as any to kind of do a breakdown of some of the different orders. So you've got the ones that we've already met before. We've got the Vantorians, which is the monster hunters. You met some of them in Baragrad. There was Theron and Marin, and then there was Myra, the one who was protecting Delar. Those are Vantorians. They hunt monsters and other like magical creatures. And then there are the new ones that you just saw here in town called the Navorians. And those are the ones who you have like the guard or the warden who accompanies like an arcane magic user who uses arcane power against arcane power, right? They're using the tools of the enemy or of the devil, whatever, against itself. So that's Navorians. And those are both technically like crusaders. They travel and they don't have like a home base necessarily.
They're spreading peace and democracy throughout the world.
100%. And then there's a third kind of questing or crusading order, and that would be the Dyrinian order, the Order of Dyrin. And the only person that we've met in game so far who was a Dyrinian would have been, if you remember back in Baragrad, there was the dwarf Inquisitor, who he was called Xander the Zealous, I think is what we ended up calling him. He was a Dyrinian. They are very militant. They are zealots, and they use force of arms to spread the word of Aona. The main order or sect of Aona that deals with like caring for the actual church buildings and things would be the Hemnil, the Order of Hemnil, or the Hemnilites. They tend to be less zealous and more pious. They're not militant necessarily. Doesn't mean that they can't like put up a fight or something like that, but they're not out on crusade. They they care for the temples, and they're like more. They stay in one place, and they care for their flocks there in the towns and in the cities where they reside. So
you're like more administrative.
Annalise would have been a Hemnolite.
Yes, and Annalise would have probably been a Hemnolite. And technically in the world, there are more people in the order of Hemnil than there are of the more zealot or crusading orders.
She's more mainstream.
Yeah,
Aeonin.
exactly. Yeah, she's more mainstream.
Remind me, we know she's a prelate because we recognized her face, but she wasn't dressed in her frock and everything, right?
Correct. She had like a cloak pulled on over her clothing. And it's not, you weren't sure whether she was just keeping the rain off because it's nasty and rainy out, and it's also getting colder and colder. She had like a wool cloak over the top of her robes. So that was something you did notice. So that's what you know about the Church of Aeona. Also, you would know, I guess something else you would know is that like the order of like priests and things, the priests are called prelates. And then like below them, you have just like a normal acolyte. And then above them, like the person who's in charge of the church over a barony would be like an archprelate. And then above that would be like, it's called a costarian. And then the leader of the church is the high costarian. So Annalise is a prelate. So she's not like a low level acolyte. She is like one step up.
So with these prelates, do we know, did they take a vow of chastity?
Oh, man.
You would know.
To the point,
No, they don't.
If I'm going to try to get some information out of her, I'm going to use my best assets.
Yeah, assets.
All right. Well, you guys are moving through. Oh, sorry, you asked a question. I don't know if you ever got an answer. The answer that the people who know about the church would know is that no, there is not a vow of celibacy or a vow of chastity.
Okay. All right. Celibacy's fine, but chastity, that's yeah. I'm not looking for any long-term commitment.
All right. Well, you guys are moving through town. Does anybody remember? You guys are on your way to meet the Silent Voice, right? That's kind of where you're headed.
Hell yeah.
Do you guys remember where it is you're supposed to go?
The safe house.
Yes. All right. So you guys would know what Philibert had told you is you are heading to the West Quarter. There is a house on...
It's a mansion, like one of the biggest mansions, but it's supposed to be abandoned, right?
Yeah, right, it's a rundown manor over in the West Quarter. The West Quarter is the poorer part of town. A lot of the streets aren't kept up. So you have like cobblestones, but you have like, some of them been pried up and stuff. So there's lots of dirt as well, puddles and that kind of thing. So that's the West Quarter. And there's a rundown manor house on a street called Walnut Way. And he said that you'll know it because it's the biggest house there, but it's run down and it looks unkempt. He also warned you about some different people that you might meet when you go there. He had warned you about potentially Winston or Lillian. I can't remember if he warned you potentially Zephyr.
Yeah, we talked about Zephyr. Zephyr was the one who might be a little crotchety.
Spicy.
No, Lillian. Lillian would have been the one who was crotchety.
One,
Yes. Yeah. And I showed you guys her token. And you're like, oh, yeah. She'd be hot if she wasn't so angry. So he warned you that you might run into a couple people, potentially Winston or Zephyr. But if you run into Lillian, she's a hard nut to crack, I think is what he had warned you. So you make your way over.
That's why we've got these cod pieces.
Oh my gosh. That's to keep your nuts from getting cracked. All right. As you guys head over to Walnut Way, it's not very hard to find.
We've never described it before, but every time we win a fight when victory music is playing, Ornan and Guy are clapping their cod pieces together. Instead of doing a jumping high five, they jump up and
over and
clap
over
their
again.
cod pieces together.
Jeez. I'm just picturing like Final Fantasy III, Final Fantasy VI sprites just jumping into each other over and over again. And in their context. Oh my gosh. High one. All right. All right. Okay. You guys are making your way through the city of Redlam. You end up going back around the castle again. The west quarter is obviously on the west side of town. And you get to this place where the houses are smaller. They're older. They're more run down. You have a lot of thatch roofs as compared to more of the tile roofs or even like the wooden shingles. You see a lot more thatch. You see a lot more like old buildings. You see abandoned buildings as well, small houses. It doesn't take you long to find Walnut Way. And as you start walking along Walnut Way, you can see there are a lot of small rundown houses. And you see that they're kind of on the southern edge of Walnut Way. You can see that there is a house that looks bigger than the others. It is actually quite large. This would be, if you're thinking back to Baragrad, this would be almost comparable to the size of Nalira's. The Silvercrest Manor.
Okay.
It's a little bit smaller, and it's definitely more run down. But you can see that there's a main door on the south side of the building. As you approach, you can see these large windows, but they are like grimy and gringy. They're leaded glass, and yes, I said gringy on purpose.
Windows.
You can see that there is an alleyway on either side that goes between the buildings next to it, which are just smaller, rundown houses. But you guys are kind of approaching the house here from the south side, so you could actually you're kind of approaching the front door. If you guys want to do any kind of investigating, just let me know. Otherwise, you're here. You're at this what you assume is the manor house for the Silent Voice.
And remind me, we were just supposed to say that Philibert sent us?
Yeah, you were just...
No secret knocks.
There were no secret knocks. You were just supposed to mention Philibert's name, and that then you might have to wait around for a bit, but then that they would check you out, and if everything seemed okay, then they would be willing to talk to you.
Then I'm just going to go up to the door.
Well, Cilvy, have at it.
Yeah, I think Cilvy will walk up and just knock.
Okay, you walk up to the front door and you knock. As you knock, you can see that through the windows, even though there's like years and years of grime, you can see that there is a light on in one of the windows there on the right side, so more on the east side of the building. And after just a couple, maybe 10, 15 seconds, the door creaks open, just a crack, and you see, looking out at you, you see this man with dark hair, kind of short, cut like just above the ears. It doesn't go down past the collar of his shirt. He's got a well-trimmed, like dark, almost black beard and mustache. He's got kind of fuller cheeks, but you wouldn't say that he's fat. He looks well fed, but not like I'm butchering this.
We had a full breakfast. All right.
Looks like Jon Snow.
He kind of does look like Jon Snow.
He looks healthy, but he just has like this fuller face. He looks well fed. He dresses nicely. So as the door opens, the first thing you notice is that his clothes are not like the clothes of other people that you see as you've been walking around here in the West Quarter. And he says, yes, may I help you? You get the impression he is a little bit
chubby.
You get the impression he's a little bit uncomfortable, but there is just kind of something endearing about it.
Hello, Philibert sent us. We were hoping we could speak to you inside the voices of silence.
He kind of looks around. He's like, "Oh, Philibert. Yes, I know Philibert. Well, come on in. And he kind of backs up and lets you in into the manor. As you step in, before any more conversation, I'll kind of describe what you see. As you step in, you can see that stretching further to the north, there is this hallway that stretches probably about 30 or 40 feet. And at the end of the hallway, you can see that there's a staircase that goes up. And then on the right and the left, right here in this entry, you can see that there are archways that lead into separate rooms. On the left side, you can see that it leads into what is some sort of like a closet or like a a place to hang your coats. And then beyond that, you can see what looks like a latrine. And on the right side, you can see there is this sitting room. Looks like it's a place to sit and have a drink or just to chat, maybe like a drawing room of some kind. You can see there's other doors along the walls down the hall, but then there's that staircase at the far end. And this man says, "Come on in," and then he closes the door behind you. He says, "My name's Winston, and you're here to talk to the silent voice." He seems very uncomfortable.
Hi, Winston. Yes, my name's Cilvy, and these are my comrades. You can call us Wilhelm Associates.
Wait, who's William?
Wilhelm.
Thank you. I told you the name William in confidence.
And we're not supposed to say the shoe one either.
Really quick, Paul, does the inside match the outside?
The inside does not match. So the inside is definitely old, but it's much more well taken care of than the outside would make it appear, right? So there are the floor is this tile work. It looks old and scuffed and like definitely like dated, but it is clean, right? It's not covered in like mud and footprints and that kind of thing. The furniture, as you kind of look to the right and you look into the sitting room, the furniture is old, but it is well cared for, right? So the fabric may be fading, but it's not like springs popping up through cushions or anything like that.
Gotcha.
Like you'd see in like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
For some reason, I had in my mind we were going to go to this old bombed out mansion and jump through a hole in the floor. I don't know why.
He says, if you wouldn't mind, here, over here. And he kind of motions to this room to the right. He says, if you wouldn't mind having a seat, I will make the arrangements, and I'm sure that there will be some people who want to speak with you. So please.
Was Winston one of the names that we were given?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. He says, please go on in and have a seat.
Winston, is everything all right? You seem a little on edge.
This is not what I normally do. And it always makes me uncomfortable when people come knocking.
Are you a member of the Silent Voice yourself?
Oh, no. I'm an associate. I'm not a member. No, I don't do any of that. And he kind of like waves his hand in the air and he goes, woo woo. I don't do any of that.
I do that all the time. Woo woo. And I raise my and I dance like a middle-aged white suburban mom.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, if you wouldn't mind, please into the drawing room, and I'll get things squared away. If anybody wants to make an insight check or anything,
does this feel like a trap?
Go ahead and make an insight check.
Ornan got a 19.
Ooh, nice. Guy got a 17.
Cilvy got a 3.
Ooh, Mawgrim got a nat 1 for an 8.
Oh, jeez.
Mawgrim and Cilvy, you guys are super on edge. I think Cilvy, you're on edge because you saw your friend, your old acquaintance from the commune. You saw her get burned, and you knew that she was associated with the Silent Voice. So you're probably just super on edge. Mawgrim, you also are on edge because of everything that's already happened today. You are eyes in the back of your head. You can't sit still. You are. I imagine you're just like looking for traps around every corner. Guy and Ornan, you feel like if this were a trap, it would be done differently. Like you get the impression this guy's just kind of an awkward dude.
Like me in college.
Yes, exactly. He says, please have a seat. He's waiting for tokens to move before he's going to move off and do his thing.
Can I hang my coat up over there in the coat racks?
Oh, of course. Yes, please. If you want to take anything off, wet clothes or anything like that, we have a wardrobe over here. You can hang your things to dry. If you are needing to use the facilities, and he kind of motions over to another door, he says, latrines are this way. I will be along shortly with some drinks. So, and maybe a snack. Please make yourselves at home. And then he backs out.
Do you have any juice boxes?
Because this party is going to be off the
hook. He's got Capri Suns, but it's only the 100% juice ones.
Oh, he says, I'll return shortly. He moves away, and he is no longer in the area. You see him kind of move off the hall, head down the hall towards the staircase at the end, but he doesn't go up the stairs. Instead, he takes a left at the last door on the left and goes in there and then shuts it behind him, leaving you guys all alone here in the drawing room.
He seems like a pretty decent fellow, all things considered, right?
I suppose so.
Just really awkward.
But it seems weird that he would be here if he's directly not related to the silent voice.
Guy and Ornan, you guys get the impression that with your 17 and your 19, that anybody in this situation might be a little uncomfortable, right? And you get the impression that this is just not his normal day to day. Like this is not what he does normally.
I'm sure they don't get many callers.
And honestly, like he was saying, I don't think it's that he's, not affiliated with the silent voice. It's that he's not a POHAFTMA.
Ah.
Or a Fimbom either.
Oh, yeah. Not a Fimbom.
Certainly not.
What is a Fimbom? That's super weird that you would talk about Fimbom.
Oh, it's the latest saying of friendship is magic. And I don't remember the rest of the letters, but something along those lines.
Hot misfits.
Really, it's about the friendship. It's more the vibe,
Okay, wait. So if we know that, which one of us is going to fess up to having read Mawgrim's journal?
We don't read his journal. He talks out loud as he's writing.
He was literally writing it, hiding in that bush. Oh my
Oh my
gosh.
god, dictating it. I imagine he's wearing like a Batman costume too, and he's like, in the night, Mawgrim, wearing black on black.
Where is she?
After a couple of minutes, you see Winston come back. He's got a tray and he's got some like 5 different like mismatched cups. And he goes and he sets it down on the table, kind of in the center of the room. And he grabs one cup for himself. And then he goes over to the corner and he sits down. He says, "Please help yourself. It's not very good, not very expensive wine, but."
Guy will take the SpongeBob cup.
Yeah, Cilvy will grab a chalice.
He says, "Please make yourselves comfortable. The silent voice has been called, and they'll gather soon. So we can just sit and wait, and we can converse if you want to."
Do you guys have a bat signal that you send out? How do you communicate so quickly with all the members?
Make a persuasion check.
That's an 11.
I honestly don't know. They have a way of sending out word, and I'm not exactly sure how it works. So I couldn't tell you.
So how exactly did you get caught up with the silent voice, not being, a POHAFTMA yourself?
Why don't you make a persuasion check?
And I'm swinging around that scepter.
Stroke that scepter. Just stroke it.
It's just swanging it.
It's only a 14, but yeah.
Yeah, it's better than 11. He says,
Wow, okay, Paul.
I'm sorry. He rolled it with advantage, and his second roll was also an 11. It is better than an 11. He says, I have an acquaintance who is a member of the Silent Voice, and I love her dearly, and I would do anything for her. And this is something that she's asked me to do for her. So here I am.
So you've been friend zoned, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, do I get the impression that this is like, oh, you're such a good friend, will you do this for me situation?
Go ahead. Yeah, make an insight check.
Everybody should jump in on this one.
Ornan got a 13.
Key got another 17.
Mawgrim got a 24.
There we go.
These are the important roles, guys. You got to know if he's in the friend zone.
Cilvy got a 12.
Okay. I imagine Ornan and Cilvy, you guys are like, I see what's going on. You think that that's a possibility. Guy, you sense there's something different, but I'll say, Mawgrim, you sense there is a deep love that this person has, but it is not romantic love.
Got it. Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, he just sits here. He's just kind of talking with you, shooting the breeze. He doesn't tell you too much about like his connection to Silent Voice, but you find out that he is actually a merchant here in town. He sells blankets and pillows. So that's kind of his thing. And business has been good.
Is this wait? Is the place is his business called the Pillow? What did they call it? What was
The Pillow Fort?
no? What was the
Pillow
when
Talk?
we were in Almar? Wasn't there like a blankets and pillows like bedding?
Oh, what was that called? It was in the bazaar.
Yeah, in the bazaar.
Oh my gosh. What was that place called?
Y'all have great
I just wanted
memories.
to know what kind of like mattress discounts he's
It's
got.
Pillow Town, isn't it?
Pillow Town. I think his place is actually called the Pillow Fort.
Okay.
Or it's called Fort Pillows, but everyone calls it the Pillow Fort. So you chat with him, and he kind of loosens up a little bit. But whenever you guys start getting the conversation, just after your persuasion rolls and stuff, getting back around to like talking about the silent voice, you sense that he gets he gets a little bit more nervous and anxious, and he doesn't want to talk about silent voice so much, and he starts to turn the conversation away. You guys are sitting there for probably about an hour, just chatting. He goes off for a while, comes back with some like snacks and things, just like some crackers and some bread and cheese, that kind of thing, to share. And you guys chat. Is there anything specifically you want to ask him or talk to him about before everybody else shows up?
I would love to know how many of the silent voice we can expect. Do you have an idea of who received the bat call?
I guess you should know this. Usually, when silent voice, when there's a meeting called, we wait for everyone to show. And at this point, there are 6 that we'll wait for. So they are probably gathering now as we speak, and before long, we'll be summoned.
Nice. Good to know we'll have the full audience.
As you are sitting there chatting with Winston, suddenly you see a woman come down the hall. You can hear her before she actually approaches. She comes striding into the room. She is wearing tight pants. She's got like a white blouse on with a sort of a thin yellow jacket over the top of it. She has her hair pulled up in a tight bun behind her head, and she has a scowl on her face. And she comes in and with just
Mawgrim is instantly attracted to this woman, by the way.
Step on me.
Yeah, exactly. So Mawgrim's into the women that will chew him up and spit him out.
Is that canary yellow? You know, I hear that's all the rage these days.
She comes walking in and she looks over at Winston and she says, "They're ready." And then she turns around and walks out as he kind of calls up to her back. "Okay, Lillian, thank you." And then she is moving down the hall as Winston stands up and says, "Please, would you accompany me? I'll take you to meet the silent voice." And he leaves the dressing room, the drawing room.
All right.
Well, she's every bit as pleasant as what's his name said, Philibert.
He takes you down to down the hallway to the very end, and instead of going up the stairs, he actually opens up the door on the left side and takes you into a kitchen. He moves through the kitchen, not through the door out to the back. You can see that there's a door leading out like behind the building, but he takes you into a side door into like the storage room, and there is a staircase that goes down into the basement of the building.
Passing the lady, Mawgrim bows deeply to her and says, "I am most grateful for your assistance," and then continues down the stairs.
And she's like, "Cram it."
Make a persuasion check.
Ooh, 19.
Oh, geez.
Let's go. Old Vicky's on a roll.
Little Vicky.
Oh my god!
Oh, with your amazing persuasion check, actually, what happens is she gives you a nod back, and she actually looks in your direction. She's the kind of person that was kind of averting her gaze, almost like
Hard to get. Yeah.
Well, hard to get, but also not aloof. Aloof is the wrong word. It's better than thou is kind of the impression you get from her. And Mawgrim, you got just the slightest little show of respect as you walked by.
Or at least seeing you as somebody worth paying attention to.
It's the baby powder.
She digs it.
All right. You guys move down the stairs into the basement. The basement is a large stone room. You can see that the floor is made up of these old beat up tile, stone tiles. There's some crates down here. There's a bunch of barrels and things. They all look old, but you can see that some of them are a little bit newer and maybe have like fresh food and stuff in them. There is a door to the east and a door to the south, and Winston takes you to the door to the south, and he opens it. And he kind of steps to the side and he motions you in and he says, if you would please go on in and you can meet the silent voice.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm nervous.
Mawgrim will go ahead and walk inside.
Yeah, Cilvy's going to cruise on in.
Winston steps up to the door, and after you guys enter, he closes it behind you. Not in an ominous way, because sitting there in this room, you walk into this room. It's got the same kind of stone tiles. You can see there are chairs set up around this room. It is a long room. It's probably like 40 feet long by about 25 feet wide. And in the center of the room, there is this old beat up table. You can see there are some chairs sitting around the table as well. The chairs around the room are all unoccupied. But the chairs around the table, you see 4 figures sitting at the table. There is first off, you see Philibert Long River. You see this halfling man with a gray beard, kind of big mutton chops, and then like this slicked back hair. You met him at the docks earlier today, or was that yesterday?
I think it was a couple days ago.
You think it was a couple days ago?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
I think you met him yesterday at the docks. He is a customs official at the docks and also a POHAFTMA. Next to him, you see this older woman. She is she's elderly, so you can see like she's got the sinews in her neck are very visible. She's got sunken in cheeks. She's got spectacles on her face. She keeps her hair cut very, very short, but it's kind of that really kind of dull brown, that dull almost turning gray, but never will actually turn gray. It's kind of that mousy brown colored hair. She is sitting in a chair on a little cushion. And then across from them are 2 other people. You see that there is...
Wait, so Philibert is a halfling. This woman, is she a human?
So it looks like Philibert is the halfling. The other 3 down here are humans.
Okay.
So the cross from this older woman, you see this man. He's got this...
Jesus.
He's got this... Geez, us 12-sided guys sure are... Sorry.
We walk in, he's like, my son.
No, he's got this long brown hair. He's got a thick mustache, a long beard. He is wearing he's wearing robes, but they're not like religious robes or like wizardly robes. It's just, some people wear like robes and cloaks and stuff to keep warm, especially this time of year. But you notice he has a sword. Exactly. You see he has a sword at his hip. And then the other person sitting at the table is this middle-aged, dark-haired woman. She has a kind smile on her face. She's got just the beginnings of some wrinkles as well. And she is sitting across from Philibert. You were told there'd be 6 people, and you see 4 down here. As you walk in, Philibert kind of stands up. He says, I can't remember his voice specifically, but I think it's kind of like Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. Kind of.
I think so.
Ah, you came. I'm glad you guys came. He kind of talks to the other people around the table. These are the ones I told you about that came in, and I can't do his voice anymore. it's so far gone. It's gone.
Like, that's all right.
These are the ones
between yesterday and today. He got hit in the throat, so choose a new voice.
these are the ones. No, like these are the ones who came and spoke to me up at customs at the docks, and they're the ones who they knew Gelowin. And you can see that around the table, like some downcast eyes. It looks like the two women in here, they kind of look a little bit sad. The man with the long beard and the long hair, he looks more angry.
At the name Gelowin, Guy will put his hand on Cilvy's shoulder.
We're also the ones who killed the crows.
Oh yes, I told you about how they went. The Ravenstone clan was looking for us to try to get our. To get a bounty off of one of us. Everyone can make insight checks as he says that.
Ooh, yeah. What is... All right, so we got a 22 on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, Mawgrim got a nat 20 for 27.
Ooh, I got a 10.
Ornan got a 4.
So Cilvy and Mawgrim, you guys both see Philibert as he says, for one of us, he holds his hand out and he kind of motions to the whole table. Mawgrim and Cilvy, you both watch the man with the beard, his eyes flick towards the old lady sitting across from him, the elderly lady. He says, yes, so they took care of the crows, the Ravenstone clan, so they're not after us anymore, so that's good. And this one here, and he points to Cilvy, she was a friend of Gelowin and would like to meet with us to talk to us about...
As long as we're recounting our victories in the city, we also cleansed the shrine of the druids.
Literally was just about to say that. Yes. Credit where credit's due. We're kind of heroes.
And we delved an old temple of Eliastri.
I'm not sure if I'd mentioned that when we kind of stole some stuff, so
We spent some time in the sewers, but not in a gross way, like in an adventurous way. We're not perverts.
We did swim with some floaters, and that was pretty gross.
We're not all perverts.
Anyway, so as you're sitting there, the man with the long beard and the long hair, he kind of leans back in his chair and he says, well, what do you want from us? You found the silent voice? What is it you wish? Are you here to join us, to help us here in the city of Redlam? Are you here to ask us for help? What is it you need?
Well, I don't mean to be impertinent, but Winston mentioned that we don't start the meetings until everyone's here. Do we need to hold off for another moment?
The man with the beard, he says, well, normally we would wait for Marie and Evelyn, but there's been no word.
Is it possible they met the same fate as Gelowin?
You see a couple looks pass across the table, and the old lady, she says, well, no, I think that they're more careful than Gelowin. Gelowin, bless her heart, she liked to talk. She was always out asking questions and kicking up anthills, that sort of thing. You have to appreciate and love her for her tenacity, but no. Marie and Evelyn, they're more careful. They're more careful than Gelowin was.
So you're not worried that they're in danger?
No need for insight checks. They are worried. You can see it in their body language, but they are.
Are they pretending like they're not worried? Like, is that what she's trying to say to me?
Yeah, she's like, you can tell that they are worried, but in the same way that they're always worried. Okay. Because of just who they are, right? Like, this is not out of the ordinary to be worried about their friends. You do get the impression, though, with your previous insight checks that it is odd to start a meeting without everybody there, especially they are on edge because of what has been happening here in town lately with the silent voice. You had heard from Philibert that they used to be like a dozen, and then they were down to 7, and now they're down to 6. So, and you're here with only 4.
Gotcha. Well, it seems like your ranks are shrinking quickly. We don't have anything to ask of you. I just, as a friend of Gelowin, I wanted to come and offer my condolences and see if you had any idea of what the work she was doing here was.
Well, yeah, the older woman, the elderly woman, she speaks up. She says, "Yes, Gelowin. She told us that that she had a safe place, a place we could go that we didn't have to hide. We could exercise our powers. We could research and we could grow and we could help each other and not live in fear. And that's what she was preaching. Some sort of a safe place."
Yes. That's where I'm from as well, and I understand why she would be preaching that. What I don't understand is why y'all are still here and not there.
Philibert doesn't speak up again. He just kind of like nods as you're talking. He already kind of gave you his reason. And it's family, right? Family and history. And then the old woman, she kind of looks around. She's like, "Well, I'm in no fit state to travel, and there are people here who need me." And then the man with the beard and the long hair, he kind of says, "Yes, and we've got our lives here. I mean, my business is here. This is where we live, and those damn Aeonans are trying to make us feel unsafe in our own homes. And he kind of spits off to the side.
Well, if you weren't going with Gelowin to the commune, to the hive, what was she trying to accomplish here?
The kind of middle-aged woman with the dark hair, she speaks up. She says, well, I spent a lot of time with Gelowin, and we talked a lot about what she wanted to do and what she ended up doing. I feel that when she came here to Redlam, she didn't realize just how dangerous it was here for people like us. And I think in her efforts to, she came trying to help us by taking us away. I think she realized that she needed to help us to stay. And so her efforts became our efforts to try to make it safe for people like us here in the city of Redlam. As she is talking, suddenly the door behind you bursts open. You can see Winston kind of like in the background, but in front of him, you see two people come entering into the room. You see, first is this woman. She is middle-aged. She is striking. She is...
Let me see that token. Let me see it.
I'm closing doors and moving people. She is a striking woman. She has red skin, pointed ears, long dark hair. She's got black horns coming up off of her head, wearing this green dress. It's not like an elegant dress or a fancy dress, but just the way she carries herself. This is a very attractive sort of middle-aged woman, tiefling. And behind her, you see somebody that you recognize. You see the tiefling man that you had seen in the Black Dog Cafe. You see he comes following behind.
And this was Mawgrim who saw him, right?
Yeah, Mawgrim saw this guy sitting at the bar at the Black Dog Cafe. You see this woman, though. She comes in, she says, they've got her, Evelyn, they've got her. And then everyone at the table stands up like, what? Who's got her? And you hear this woman start to talk. You would initially know this must be Marie because the two who were missing were Evelyn and Marie. Marie begins telling her tale.
Wait, if we have to mount a rescue mission to the Church of Aeona to save a religious prisoner, maybe I can also use that opportunity to chat up that Annalise.
This woman starts saying, they got her. I don't know how they found her, but they picked her right up off the street. They took her right to the Temple of Aeona. I don't know. I haven't heard any rumors that they're going to do a burning anytime soon. However, if Gelowin is any indication, then 48 hours tops. And you can see that she has been crying. You can see the figure behind her, this male tiefling. He is younger. He's probably in his 20s, and he puts his hand on her shoulder. And instantly, just with your insights that you've already rolled, this is a mother-son relationship. The people at the table start asking all kinds of questions like, who got her? Where is she? How did they find her? What were you doing?
Wait, is this an attractive woman with a son my age? Totally my type.
Oh my gosh. Yes. As she is talking, you recognize just by the conversation that Evelyn is Marie's daughter. So it looks like the last two members of the Silent Voice are a mother-daughter pair. They are scared. They don't know what to do. As you are listening to the conversation, you hear the man with the long hair and beard. He is getting angry. He keeps putting his hand on his sword. But he also keeps saying, what can we do? And you get the impression that he is angry and he wants to fight back, but he also does not know. He does not feel he has the power to fight back. And he is almost writing off Evelyn. This elderly woman is asking all kinds of questions. She's the one who wants to know where and when and how. You see that Philibert stands up and he's like, I've got to go check on my family, make sure that they're okay. If they've caught Evelyn, who knows what she may have said? And then like Marie, the mother, she says, oh, she wouldn't speak. She wouldn't. I know she wouldn't. She's tougher than that. And then the man with the beard, he stands up and he says, everybody breaks. And then there is just this loud, drawn out argument, heated conversation going on. And you guys are just kind of standing there in the room listening to it.
Marie, is that your name's Marie?
She looks, she says, yes. Who are you?
Sorry, my name is Guy. I was formerly known as Wilhelm Lionstorm, if that name rings any bells. Kind of in the same business.
She's going to roll it. Nope. She rolled a natural 2. She's like, that is the most metal name I've ever heard of. But I am distraught, for my daughter hath been taken to the Temple of Aeona.
Are you safe here? Obviously, there are ties. If they've caught your daughter, then there are ties to you. And I assume this is your son. Are you safe here? Or you can't go home, obviously.
She says, no, we can't go home. But there are protections. As she says that, then the elderly woman stands up. She says, there are protections here. The manor is... it's sort of hard to find if you don't know you're looking for it. There are spells and enchantments in place. So we're safe here. However, out there, we're not as safe. Philibert stands up and he's like, I'm sorry. I have to go check and make sure my family's okay. And you see the rest of the people at the table, they nod. And Philibert actually moves past you. He says, I'm sorry. A terrible day to meet the silent voice. And then he moves past you and out the door.
No, take care of your own. It makes sense. Nobody faults you for that. Oh, she's cute.
Aww.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
For all your listeners, I just showed a picture of Evelyn and her token. So if that changes what anybody wants to do,
we can't let her die.
Yeah, she's like 16 or 17.
If we do this, we'll have to leave the city straight away.
If you do what?
Well, we're gonna help you, duh. We're heroes of the realm.
Obviously, but I think after this, you need to get out of the city if possible. Take your family if you love them and get to safety. Come to the Hive.
She said, the Hive. What Gelowin was always speaking of, the Hive.
Yes.
She turns to her son and she says, Zephyr, I think we need to go. I think if we can get Evelyn out, I think it's time. Redlam is gone to us. And he nods and he says, yes, I agree.
You said 48 hours? It was 48 hours from the time she was taken before Gelowin was set to the pyre?
The old lady speaks up. It was 2 days when we realized that Gelowin was gone, that then they announced that she was burning, and sadly we watched her burn 2 days after they picked her up.
So we may have a minute to reconnoiter a bit.
But potentially, yes. Why would you help us?
Well, duh, we're heroes of the realm. We said that like 3 times.
I've seen one too many burnings in my lifetime, and I'll stop this one.
And that's literally my job, is to help other POHAFTMAs. That's why Gelowin and I are out of the Hive.
Okay.
And I don't know if you heard, but I used to be Wilhelm Lionstorm. It was kind of my job too.
Let's see.
And we're heroes. Again, we're heroes.
Oh, she goes, this is the old lady. You're Wilhelm Lionstorm. Wilhelm Lionstorm. I've heard rumors that you used to float up and down the river, helping people in need. A true hero to us POHAFTMAs.
I used to ferry people in need, kind of like Marie and Zephyr you are now.
You're so young and virile.
Spreading your seed all up and down the river.
Oh my God.
Oh God. If only
Seeds
I
of
was a little
hope.
bit younger.
Well, you wouldn't be the oldest person I've been with.
Oh my gosh, this woman is got to be like 85.
I've dated elven women who were in their 300s.
No, that's true. That's true. All right. Yeah. So
That reminds me of that meme of like the 4 teenage girls and like the old grandma, and they're all labeled things like 800-year-old druid and 600-year-old elf and 75-year-old human.
yes. All right. Yeah. Okay. So Maria's like, so you'll help me just like that.
Also, if we're going to do this, we need to find a way to disguise Mawgrim a little bit.
What? What are you talking about? I took my coat off. What more do you need me to do?
I like that your leather shirt is just a little bit shorter than your leather jacket.
We'll need to buy provisions and get ready to hit the road as soon as we do this.
Should we
Yes, if we
also
embark
maybe
on
prepare?
this.
Sorry,
go ahead.
for it. I'd go for it. I was just going to say we should prepare the druid woman that we were talking about leaving with. Let her know we're going to be heading out.
Danon, the dwarven druid.
I think that's a good idea. I would say we need to make sure all loose ends are wrapped up and that we are provisioned and ready to go, because certainly if we do this, there is no going back.
Right. Honestly, if we do this and we don't do it right, it could mean riots. It could mean destruction and blood in the streets of Redlam. I say we try to be as careful and as stealthy as possible in whatever we do. But I think that going in, getting a better lay of the land first is going to be essential.
So tonight or tomorrow?
Or, like I said, I could go in and just be like, hey, I knew I recognized you. I saw you in the library. And I was like, where have I seen that face? Like, oh, yeah, she's a nun. And then I could go talk to her. That Elvinin, what was her name?
Are we doing a conquest or are we doing a rescue? I'm confused as to...
Her name was Annalise.
Annalise, here's the deal. We have something in common with her. She could become an asset. We could potentially even turn her. I'm not saying that I think she could be trusted. I'm saying there is some information about her that we know, and we've also seen her, and I left a good impression because I'm me. So that's another in, maybe to just see around the temple and get a better understanding of what's going on. Honestly, I've done some of my best reconnaissance in the bedroom.
I believe it, dude.
People get comfortable. We have there's a connection there, and they are one of the caretakers of the temple. Of course, I'm going to try to use my strengths to try to help us in this mission.
Very noble of you. You're truly sacrificing for the rest of us.
Marie, this tiefling, middle-aged tiefling woman, she says, okay, so I will go and gather what I can, and I will come here. And you see the other members of the Silent Voice like, yes, of course, stay here, where it's safe. She says, when you get Evelyn, if you can save Evelyn, bring her to me here. And then she looks over at you, Cilvy, says, and then we'll join your hive. We will go to safety.
All right, let's go be heroes.
Again. This is getting old, guys.
This is D&D, guys. Come on.
Let's try being pirates sometime.
You see,
I thought you already did that.
I wasn't a pirate. I guess I kind of was.
You kind of were. You see that this elderly woman, she says, let us know if there's anything that we can do to help you with whatever we can in any way, but just, I mean, we're not warriors, we're not fighters, we're not spies, but anything we can do, we will do. If you need blessings or any kind of augmentations that maybe we can help you with, feel free to ask. Not augmentations, but it would be a better word.
Augmentations I could use.
Little blue pills, please.
I was thinking lip filler.
Oh my gosh. You
That would
guys.
look so good on you.
Augmentation.
She's like, no, like if you need maybe
Bardic inspiration?
not bardic. I'm looking through their spell lists to see who's got what.
Heroism? Blessing?
Ugh.
We need to buy some horses and some riding dogs too.
Marie comes over to you, Mawgrim, and she says, I can at least do this for you. And she casts prestidigitation, and now you no longer need to take a bath.
Well, you picked the right one to do it on.
I take offense
That's
to
a
this.
kindness for all of us, honestly.
I know that we're going to try to save your daughter, but truly, today you saved us.
I feel like you guys are being dramatic about this.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
No, it's true. He smells more like baby powder than like poo pee pee.
Well, if there's anything that you need from us, just let us know, and we'll get it for you. Whatever. But please, if you could save Evelyn, she's just a sweet young girl, and
We'll bring your
but we
daughter
should-
home, ma'am. Don't you worry.
What we need are 2 horses and 2 riding dogs.
And a disguise for this guy. Can you any of you magically disguise Mawgrim here?
They can cast. A couple of them can cast disguise self, which only works on.
What if
themselves.
what if they were sitting in the chair and Mawgrim was sitting on their lap while they cast it?
You know, Ornan mentioned the lip filler thing. I mean, I'm willing to give it a try if we need to.
I'm gonna look through real quick.
I have a thing that I can do, but it requires some ingredients that I don't have. I can make it so no one could scry on Mawgrim while we're traveling around, but he'd still be noticeable to the naked eye.
Oh, I won't be naked, though.
Not this time.
Oh, all right. I've got a special mushroom I make that makes it so people can't scry on you.
Oh, okay.
You'll only hallucinate a little.
Yes. See, I think it's that I did not understand anything of what is happening.
Yeah, so much of their spells are like they have to be there to cast them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, if horses, no problem. They say that they will make sure that you have some horses and some riding dogs. They'll have all that squared away. They'll take a second to get that all set up, and you can see as the elderly woman is saying that, she kind of motions out through the hall, and you see Winston come in, and he kind of stands next to you guys, and she says, I'm going to need to call in a favor. I need horses and 2 riding dogs. And he nods. He says, of course, anything you need.
And some barding and tackle, provisions for some for the road.
Yeah. My horse needs plate mail, please. Fancy gold ones with feathers and stuff.
So this guy, Winston, looks like he is pretty loaded. He looks like he's a very successful pillow and blanket merchant. Why don't you make a persuasion check, and we'll see what we
Honestly,
can do.
yeah, ring him for all you can get.
Oh, man.
Ask him if there's going to be more if somebody bleeds.
Ooh, I got a nat 20 for a 27.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's the deal.
Nice.
You guys can have 2 riding dogs, not a problem. You can have either a riding horse or 2 riding horses or 2 war horses, whichever you prefer. As far as barding, I would say if you really want barding, that's something you're actually going to ask for. With your natural 20, like it just makes sense that you guys would need protection. You guys are like, you guys are heroes. It looks like.
Warhorse, please. Sorry, did you mean riding horse or draft horse, or did you mean
riding horse or war horse? I mean, you can do a
Okay.
draft horse too, but that's more for pulling a wagon.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Most people
Not
don't want to
dragging this
sit.
wagon.
Most people don't want to sit atop a draft horse if they can help it.
Percheron.
Yes. Okay. You could also get the equivalent of a chain shirt barding for your animal, which gives it AC 13 plus their dex.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
I want that so bad. Okay.
I want
Okay,
that on
well, yeah.
mine as well.
Yeah, he's like, of course, whatever you need. And he goes off to start making those arrangements. And you guys are now here in the basement of the Silent Voice with, it looks like, a mission, a job to do before you guys leave town. So if you want to ask anybody else any questions, feel free to, or we can move outside. You guys can do some recon or whatever it is you guys want to do.
The lady upstairs with the yellow dress or outfit, the lovely young lady. What was her name?
The man with the beard and the long beard and the long hair. He says, "That's Lillian. She's my what is she? Office manager is the only thing I can say. No, no. Office manager.
Not another one of these guys.
She's my assistant.
Is she, now's not the right time. Never mind.
He catches on to what you're saying, and he just says,
Good luck.
Challenge
He doesn't
accepted.
need luck.
Mawgrim smiles to himself.
Mawgrim, it's never going to be the right time. So you have to make this time. Oh, I had something better to say.
You know, I think I am picking up what you are putting down here.
Oh my gosh.
One must strike while the iron is hot.
Right. Make your own time.
That's right.
As you guys are down here talking, you see that Marie, this tiefling woman, is talking to her son Zephyr, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll be careful. You know, of course, I'll go gather what I can, but I'll make sure that I'm safe." And you know, you can see that she is very, very worried. But Zephyr goes off; he leaves as well to go and gather up what he can from their house to get things ready for them to depart the city as well. And the silent voice begins to break up. Like to not to break up, but like to leave the room.
Disperse.
Yes, to disperse.
That's it, guys. We're breaking up the band.
Yoko!
Oh, jeez.
Okay. So there are a few things we need to do. We need to check out the temple, try to figure out maybe where they're holding her or what they plan to do with Evelyn. And then there's also there's the problem of the money that we're owed. What else do we need to do before we can leave town?
Well, I'd like to go shopping. There's a few provisions I'd like to purchase, weapons and assortments.
Okay.
Perhaps I could go with Ornan to do the shopping.
We also need to let the dwarven lady know that we're heading on out pretty quick here.
And do we want to maybe alert Ryla, or should we let her stay innocent?
I think we should let her stay innocent. She's done enough for me.
I
mean,
agree.
us.
Oh, man.
So, Cilvy, do you want to go with me to a temple to Aona?
Let's do
Poke
it.
around?
That sounds so safe.
Guy, perhaps, should we write our name in your book or something? Is there something we should do about this?
I already have your name, Mawgrim, in my book. I believe I added you last time.
Oh, yes.
Victor Magrimsky. Yep. Right there, Victor Magrimsky. Signed a contract to be like good friends or something. Something really cheesy.
Well, sigh. I suppose that's good.
So I can reach out to you. I'll let you know as soon as I find anything out. But Cilvy and I will head to the Temple of Aona to poke around a little. And as soon as we're done there, I'll let you know.
Okay, this sounds good.
All right. You guys are then leaving the silent voice. And where are you guys going, Mawgrim and Ornan? Sorry, I was distracted.
That's totally fine.
Oh, I just needed, if we're going to leave town, there were some shopping things, but I'd also like to get paid first because I would like some money before I do that, though.
So you would know that the way that you guys are going to get paid is you just have to go back to the Oaken Throne and see if there's a message for you to go and get paid at the castle. So is that where you guys are headed then, Mawgrim and Ornan?
Yeah, we can go there. I mean,
yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Mawgrim and Ornan, you guys start heading down towards the Oaken Throne as Cilvy and Guy head a little bit more northeast towards the Temple of Aona. The Temple of Aona is right there outside of Cinder Square, just north of the Prolian Archive. All right, we're going to start at the Temple of Aona. I put everyone here so you guys can kind of see what's going on. But as you approach the Temple of Aona, it is now getting towards like later afternoon, and the sun is starting to go down. But the Temple of Aona is always easy to spot because of the flames that decorate the interior of the building. You see, as you approach this large stone building, there are these tall arched windows. They are leaded glass, but you can see fire, like light glowing out from the windows. Guy and Cilvy, you guys are the two that don't really have a connection to the worship of Aona so much. But the way that these temples work is that there is fire inside, this cleansing flame. So usually there will be torches that decorate the walls that are shining out through the windows to give light outside. You can see that the inside there are these other kind of like fire motifs and braziers and things like that. And describe it as you approach, as you go inside. But as you approach the building, you can see that out in the front, there is this mosaic flame motif that is set in the stones approaching the temple. The temple is longer north to south than it is east to west. And I would imagine that you've seen this temple before. You've walked past it multiple times. The northern half of this temple is large. It is this big stone building with these tall windows. That is more the worship area. The back part, the kind of the southern part of this building, is smaller. It is more
the building's ass, if you will.
Yes, exactly. It's more the living quarters. You can see that the whole temple complex itself is all fenced off with this metal, this metal fence. It doesn't look like it's guarded necessarily, but it is fenced off. There are these gardens around the temple that are kept up. You can see that there's actually flowers in flower beds out in front of the temple as well. And as you guys approach the door on the north side of the building to enter in, you can see that the door is open. That's one thing that you are also aware of, is that the temple doors of the Church of Iona are always open, unless Ornan and Mawgrim, you would know that the only time that the temple doors would be closed is if there was an attack or they needed to secure the building. But I mean, even out into the night, the doors are open, and you can see the firelight from inside shining out through the doors and windows. So, Guy and Cilvy, you approach the building. Is there anything you guys want to do on the outside of the building before you go in and start doing any kind of recon?
All right, Cilvy, follow my lead, but this is going to be fun for you. I've been working on a new persona, and I think you should have one as well, just so that we're not using our, currently accepted real names.
I've learned I'm really good at acting, so this will be great.
So if anybody asks, so that you don't use the name Guy, while we're in there, go ahead and just call me Ross. And I'm going to call you Tennille.
Tennille?
Right.
I thought you were going to go with Rachel.
That's what I was
That's
thinking.
what I was thinking too.
Fine. Rachel, jeez.
All right, Ross.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. You guys.
Let's go show them how good we're friends.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez. Is there a fountain out front that we can do opening credits in?
There is no fountain. There is no fountain out front. There's just this flame motif. These open doors. You can see that there are these statues flanking the front door that are holding these braziers with fire. It looks like these fires are tended all the time. No, you guys can you can see through the doorway that once you get into the temple, it looks like there is this black tile walkway that goes towards the center of the building, and then there are these golden tiles around it. The first thing you notice when you walk in, though, is just how many people are in here. You see that there are priests and prelates walking around. You see that there are armored figures in the armor, like the gold and black armor or tabards of worshippers of Iona. You can see that there are a couple people that you might recognize. You see that one of the prelates who was at the burning, you see he is kind of standing towards the front of the building to welcome people in as you come walking in. You can also see that on either side of the entrance, you can see that there are these the floor is recessed on either side, and in the center there are these braziers, these massive braziers. It's like almost 10 feet across with these glowing coals lighting up the room. You can also see that straight ahead in the center of this kind of worship area, there is a large altar that you can access from a staircase, but it's got an even larger brazier on it. You can see that the platform that this brazier is on is held up by these statues of this woman who's got her arms outstretched holding torches, and the torches are actually lit torches, and these would be representations of Iona. But around all these braziers, you see that there are people who are sitting around them, looking in at the coals. You see every once in a while somebody will write something down on a piece of paper and then toss it into the fire. Anyone aware of Aeonan worship, you know that's kind of like you giving up your vices or your hang-ups, and you are tossing them into the fire and giving them to Aona to either cleanse you of something or to give you strength to fight something. And you can see that around this room there are a lot of worshippers, not just worshippers, but actually acolytes and followers of Aona. You see further into the room that there are 2 chapels, one on the left and one on the right. And go ahead and make perception checks as you're gazing around the room.
All right, Cilvy rolled a 7.
And Guy rolled an 11.
As you are looking around the room, you see that there are, it looks like there's some kind of a little sermon or service going on in one of these little chapels. There's a chapel on the east side and the west side. And on the east side, you can see that there is a priest standing up and is preaching to a bunch of people who are sitting on benches and talking about the glory of Aona and the power of Aona and that sort of thing. And you can see that Annalise, the prelate, is actually standing up there. She is not the one giving the sermon, but she is standing there and listening. You see that this is where
Kind of like an altar girl type thing.
not necessarily altar girl, because she doesn't seem to be like subordinate to the person who is actually doing the preaching. She is just standing there and is taking in the sermon as well. You also see random woman.
Oh, it's a new random woman. That totally is Evangeline Lilly.
It's super Evangeline Lilly. I love
Wow, I love it.
Oh gosh. Yeah, so with your guys' perception checks, it's hard to separate and try to distinguish like different groups of Aeonan worshippers here in the temple. But one thing you do know is that behind you, so as you guys are kind of approaching the chapel area where Annalise is, you see that behind you at the other chapel, it is almost completely empty except for 2 figures. You see this heavily armored woman in black and gold armor, and you see that she is standing.
She's like straight up a Mandalorian.
Kind of. You see that she is standing behind a man who is kneeling in front of this statue of Aona, and he appears to be crying. And you recognize he is also wearing the black and gold of Aeonan worship, and you recognize one of the Navorian spellcaster worshippers of Aona, one of these arcane users. It looks like he is trying to cleanse himself of the corruption that comes with arcane, at least according to Aeonan worshippers. So you can see that there is this sermon going on. People are sitting there. They are listening. They are, some of them are like praying. And you can see Prelate Annalise is standing there. At the south end of the room, you can also see there is double doors. There's a staircase that goes up to like a second floor balcony that just kind of wraps around the room. But underneath the staircase, there is a double door leading to the southern part of the building, which you guys would know probably is more the living area for the prelates and acolytes.
Okay, so Guy will go ahead and come into this chapel, and he's going to just sit on one of the benches here that's unoccupied, and kind of wait for this service to end.
Yeah, you sit there, and this Hemnolite Aeonan is up there preaching. You can tell that she is not like a crusader because she has 0 like bits of armor or anything on her, and she is preaching about Aona. She's preaching about the false hope and comfort that comes from meddling with the powers of nature, and how people are trying to take the power of the gods for themselves, and that is only power that the gods can give. Anything other than that is a corruption. And you see that there are people nodding along, but after about 5 or 10 minutes, she finishes up her sermon, and people begin to get up and move away.
Guy, seeing his opportunity, will say, "Keep an eye out for me, okay?"
I'll do my best.
He'll go up and he'll like straight up approach Annalise. Is it Annalise or Annalise?
Annelise.
Okay, Annalise. Okay, all right. And I'll walk up to her and say, I thought I recognized you from somewhere, and here you are.
She looks over at you. She says, yes, from the archive.
Yes. So I was right. I had seen you before.
She says, I don't think I've seen you here before.
Well, allow me to introduce myself then. My name is Ross Lacrosse.
Oh my God, get out.
Ross Lacrosse. Pleasure. I am Prelate Annalise. I'm one of the prelates here of the Temple of Aona.
Oh.
What brings you... No. What brings you here to the Temple of Aona? I have not seen you here before, so you're not a regular.
I don't want to be too forward, but it's you, honestly. There was something about you. I was taken in by something in your countenance, I think you religious people say. I felt like I had to give it a shot. So here I am. It's a pleasure to meet you, Annalise.
Make a persuasion check.
Come on, big money. It's a 22.
She, you see that she kind of, she gets a little color in her cheek. She gets a little bit of a blush. Make an insight check. Cilvy, I want you to make a perception check as you're sitting there watching this happen.
Oh, that's a nat 20.
Guy got a 19 insight.
Oh my gosh. All right. Cilvy, with your perception of 20, you see that Guy and Prelate Annalise seem to be getting along well. You see Prelate Annalise's body language change after a couple of seconds of talking with Guy, and she kind of turns towards him a little bit more, being a little bit more open. You also see that some of these other people who are here in the temple now, as some of the people here in this chapel have left now that the sermon is over, you can see more of the actual like priests of Aona, the actual like acolytes. You see that there are a couple of people here who are still sitting here in the chapel. They are talking amongst themselves, and you catch the glimpse of like tattoos and things on their faces, and you recognize a couple of Vantorian, sort of like the monster hunter followers of Aona, similar to what it sounds like Ornan had been or had attempted to be. But that's what you notice. You notice that Annalise seems to be opening up to Guy. Guy, you notice with your 19 insight that something is troubling Annalise, and you seem to be a welcome distraction.
So I don't know if you have any other responsibilities here today, but I was wondering if you'd be interested in getting a drink or meeting up somewhere, later tonight, a bar or something. I don't want to be too forward, and honestly, and I don't know how people ask people out on dates.
No. So when you are a very attractive person, you can do whatever you want to ask somebody out on dates. That's just how life works. And Guy is a very attractive person. You see that the prelate actually, she kind of she tucks her hair behind her ear. Cilvy, you gag a little bit as you see this interaction, I imagine. Yeah. She's like, well, yes, I she kind of looks around the temple. She's like, yes, I could meet you for a drink tonight. Yes. Where did you have in mind?
Are you familiar with the Black Dog in the Docks District?
The Black Dog? Not particularly, but I'm sure I could find it.
I mean, only if you're comfortable, traveling that far. It's not too far from here, honestly. But I just like that it's cozy and it's private.
Oh my gosh, this is getting too awkward, man. You're my twin brother.
How about we just say Guy flirts and she agrees to meet him at the Black Dog?
Yeah, you know what? Guy flirts and she agrees to meet you at the Black Dog. As you are having this interaction, suddenly, Guy, you remember, wait, there's somebody else you're supposed to meet at the Black Dog tonight, too.
I'm killing two birds with one stone.
Okay. All right.
He's
awesome.
going to try to misdoubtfire this and do them both at the same time.
I was just about to say the same thing. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we are going to pause this interaction here at the temple as Guy is trying to, as Guy is making plans with Prelate, and as Cilvy is watching and, quote, learning.
I'm
what
still
Guy is
educated.
doing. Watch and learn. We are going to cut over to Ornan and Mawgrim. Ornan and Mawgrim, as you guys approach the Oaken Throne. You guys walk into the Oaken Throne. As you walk into the Oaken Throne, you see that there is a. Usually you guys just kind of move right past the front desk and go back towards the common room where the food and the booze is. But as you guys are walking in, you see that there is one of the workers here at the inn is standing at the front desk, and he motions, or as he walks in, he notices you guys walking in, and he says, "I've got a message for you." And he kind of like looks behind him, and then he pulls out this envelope, and he sets it down on the desk. And he says,
Is that our big check? We're expecting a very large check.
he sets it down and he says, "Some very important people came by and dropped this off for you." And then he turns around and goes back to work.
Important people. Okay.
All right. There is like a note. It's sealed with green wax, and it is on some heavy-duty parchment.
Ooh.
Ornan will break the seal and open it up, and then like hold it like really high for himself so Mawgrim can read it at the same time. He's like holding it at like the top of his head level and like looking up at it.
Okay. As you open it up, you see that it is written in an elegant hand, and the text of the message reads something to the effect of, "It has come to my attention that you have been
Naughty boys."
naughty boy.
We haven't done can't prove anything.
It says, "It has come to my attention that you have been incredibly helpful in dealing with a certain crow problem. If you wish to be rewarded, please find yourselves to Umbral Pike Keep and ask for Mistress Sephora, Mistress of Coin." And it's signed Sephora. Sephora, she's got a last name.
Lacrosse.
It is signed.
Bahora.
Oh my God. It is signed. No, she doesn't have a last name. It is signed Sephora.
Dang it, you guys are going to go meet with Sephora. She's the one that I want to romance the most.
Well,
Don't
Mawgrim,
worry, I've got this one.
There is that old lady that you were talking to, and I don't know. That seemed promising.
Oh my
I
gosh.
don't know that we have time to get back together with everybody before we have to leave town, so we might collect this and then split it with the others.
Oh, okay.
Good talk. Let's head that way.
See, that's what I love about Mawgrim and Ornan when they go off on their own. They have so much chemistry.
All right.
We do hold hands, though. Like, what we didn't say is that we're holding hands. We have great chemistry.
I'm walking behind him, and I'm reaching up and holding both of his hands at the same time. Oh, I guess you don't have the hand. I'm holding your stump.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh. All right. Ornan and Mawgrim, you guys leave the Oaken Throne Inn as you make your way to the gatehouse of Umbral Pike Keep. It is this large, dark castle. The gatehouse is large, strong, and foreboding. Ornan and Mawgrim, as you enter into the grounds of Umbral Pike Keep, and Cilvy and Guy, as you are within the Temple of Aeona, surrounded by people who you know would burn you at the stake if they knew what you were. That is where we're going to stop for tonight.
Oh, I forgot to say, Guy took off his "I'm a POHAFTMA, are you" shirt. IMAPOHA, POHAFTMA.
Yes, I got it.
Are you? Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
all just letters.
Awesome.
Dude, I need to make that t-shirt.
That's actually an amazing t-shirt idea. I love it.
Oh my gosh. That's great. Awesome. Well, next time we get together, we're going to have a split party. Some of you in the castle getting a reward potentially, and others of you in the Temple of Iona, as well as trying
Getting a
to
reward, maybe?
getting a reward from a certain prelate who you know is sharing dreams with you. Anyway, don't forget, go check out our Patreon. You guys can get bonus content like the maps that we're using, all the battle maps. You can see the wiki, so you can see all the tokens of the characters. Also, don't forget to go to our shop, check out our buttons, check out stickers, t-shirts, perhaps even I am a POHAFTMA, are you coming in the future? Maybe? And until we get together next time, we hope you have a great time.